Good morning, everybody. Since I have my hair and makeup done, since my daughter's coming over for Mother's Day, and I'm sure she'll be wearing a face mask, I figured I might as well make you another video. And this time I am reviewing the chapter 6 to 8 To Kill a Mockingbird quiz that gave you some trouble. So again, pull up assignments on Teams, pull up the quiz, and split your screen, and then I will start going over the questions. So I'm going to hit pause, and then you go and do what you need to do. Okay, so we should be back and ready to look at the questions. Question 1. Why would Jem and Dill wait until the last night of summer vacation to go over to the Radley place and try to look at Boo Radley? There are 2 correct answers, and both of them were factual right out of the text. Atticus would be so deep in a book that he would not hear Jem, Scout, and Dill. And that is Scout telling you that. And secondly, if Boo killed him, he would miss school and not summer vacation. So those are the 2 correct answers. What literary technique is being used in the following quote? I declare to the Lord, you're acting more like a girl every day. Now, this was said by Jem to Scout, so it's verbal irony because she is a girl. Question 3, how should the reader know, infer, that it is Boo's shadow the children see on the back porch? Now think about it. Just think about it. Okay? You're on the back porch. Somebody comes behind you. You're sneaking in the window, looking in the window. They're going to yell at you. The fact that nothing is said to Jem should tell you that it's not Nathan. Okay? It's not Nathan. Nathan would have yelled at the kids. So the fact that nothing is said to Jem should give you the idea that it is Boo. Because if it was Nathan, he would have yelled at Jem. So those are the 2 answers that you should have had. Number 4, why did Nathan Radley go into his backyard with a rifle? Now let's kind of remember, this is the Depression. People are desperate. Things are getting stolen. He hears some noise in the garden. He makes the assumption that there's a black person in the garden. Someone, and he assumes that they're black. So there's only one answer for that. Number 5, identify an incident in chapter 6 which adds to the characterization of Jem. Now the line that says he lies saying we're playing strip poker, Dill said that. Second answer is correct. He decides to go back to the garden to the Radley place to retrieve his pants. That's showing you his pride. That's characterization. He laughs at Scout for being afraid to go to the Radley house. Again, that's developing his character. And the last one is a false statement. He cries when they do not get to see Boo Radley. That's not true at all. So 2 correct answers. From chapter 6, identify an example of prejudice. Okay, the fact that Nathan automatically assumed there was a black person in his garden is an example of prejudice. Nothing else there is an example of prejudice. In chapter 7, what truth does Jem finally share with Scout? The only correct answer is he did not want to go back. The only correct answer is when he did retrieve his pants, they had been crudely sewn up, folded, and waited for him. Now, you should be figuring this out by now. It's Boo. Boo knows Jem so well. He knows he's going to come back for his pants. He sees that they're torn. He sews them crudely. They're folded. They're waiting. Again, you guys need to work on those inference skills. Now we're going to talk about the tree. Very, very important is the tree. And these, again, are facts and inferences. There is a knot hole big enough to leave something in. Fact. Jem and Scout often stop at it when they notice something there. Fact, right out of the text. Inference, most likely, it can be seen by the front window and door of the Radley house. So that leads us to a question later on. Nathan sees the kids stopping at the tree. Again, inference. Number 9, what can you infer about the items that are being left in the knothole? 3 correct answers. They're being left as gifts for Jem and Scout. They are items that someone thinks a young child would enjoy, young child. So the gum, the pocket watch, the spelling medal, Indian head pennies. And you could figure out by now, you should be figuring out, these are things that Boo has at home. It's Mother's Day today. Try to remember when you were a little kid, what did you make your mom for Mother's Day? It's things that you had around the house, that macaroni necklace, okay, something with your handprint. And Boo is doing the same thing. He's looking at what he has. It's not like he can go downtown to the store and buy them gifts. 10. In Chapter 7, how did Jem and Scout plan on communicating with the person who was leaving the gift? Only one correct answer. He plans on leaving a little thank you note. Number 11, why would Nathan want to set Ned up the knothole? Now, he says the tree's dying. That's a lie. Okay. The children are not leaving things in the knothole, so it can't be number 2. Jem and Scout have not been communicating with Boo at this point. The only answer that can be correct is to stop Boo from leaving items in the knothole. In Chapter 7, what is ironic about Jem saying, "Don't you cry now, Scout, don't you cry?" Again, only one correct answer. He is the one who cries at the end of the chapter. Question 13 has 2 correct answers. By the end of Chapter 7, what does Jem come to understand? Yet Scout doesn't say. And again, these are these inference questions, reading between the lines. Jem realizes that Boo is being mistreated by his brother, and that the legends and tall tales about Boo aren't all true. Okay, so only 2 correct answers. Number 14, what happens in Maycomb during this particular winter? 3 things. Mrs. Radley dies. It snows for the first time in decades, and because of that, school is canceled. Who blames the snow on the children's bad behavior? Only one correct answer. That is Mr. Avery. Okay, that reinforces this concept of people who believe in legends and these tall tales, and these crazy stories. Question 16, what leads Miss Maudie's house to be set on fire? Okay, so this is a cause and effect question. This happens, which leads to this, which leads to this, which leads to this. So there's 3 answers. It was cold enough to snow. Miss Maudie was afraid her flowers would freeze. Okay, down south, they don't have this snow. And you might not understand, but when a flower freezes, it can't come back to life. So she's trying to protect her plants. That's what she loves. She leaves her stove on, her stove flue. She leaves it on. That's what sets the fire. 17, identify an example of the people of Maycomb coming together. Now, if I'm asking you this question, it's obviously important. Okay? I'm giving you a little hint. I'm giving you a little foreshadowing. These are people who are good. These are people who are nice. These are people who are risking their own safety to help Miss Maudie to fight that fire. And you need to remember that. Okay? So, examples of people coming together, 3 of them. Neighbors help push that fire truck. It's so cold the engine dies. The men are trying to save her house from the raging fire. And Miss Stephanie, the town gossip, offered to have Miss Maudie stay with her while her house is being rebuilt. So just keep it in mind. These are good people. 18, Atticus told his children not to go back into their home and stay in front of the Radley house. When they got home, he notices a blanket over Scout's shoulders. And what did he realize? That Scout and Jem do not. Okay, think about where they were standing. Okay, got it? Where were they standing? In front of the Radley house. So who can see them? Boo. Okay, from the window that he's been watching them for years. And he sees Scout freezing, and he comes up and puts a blanket on her. Now, she's so enthralled in the fire, she doesn't even notice it. She just snuggles in with it. But that is the answer. Okay? So he realizes that everyone in Maycomb came out that night, and that everyone includes Boo. 19, why will Jem risk getting in trouble by telling Atticus all their secrets about the ripped pants and the gift in the trees? Now, we know that Jem is a character with a lot of pride, and he's never gotten whipped, spanked by Atticus, and that's why he went back and got those pants, but he's willing to risk getting in trouble with Atticus to save Bradley from getting in trouble with Nathan for coming out of the house. This is a sign of maturity. This is a sign of compassion and empathy, and we're really seeing him grow and mature. So there's two correct answers. He has learned to see things from another person's perspective, and he wants to protect Bradley. And lastly, 20, identify an example of courage in chapter 8. Now, I think I know why you had a little trouble with this. It's about your individual definition of what courage is, and it's not bang, bang, shoot 'em up. There's different types of courage. All of the answers are correct. So Boo coming out of the house, he risks getting in trouble with his brother. That's courage. Jem telling his father what they've really been up to. That's courage. The neighbors trying to fight a fire. Okay, obviously that's more the heroic courage. And then there's the quiet courage, the psychological courage that Miss Monty shows toward her house burning down. She says, I always wanted a smaller house. So hopefully those of you who had trouble with the quiz questions on this part of the book, this helped you a little bit, and I will be making more videos for you. So be good to your moms this week, and talk to you soon. Bye.